Well, buen camino, pilgrims. I am Jeremiah Gibbs, and I'm your Camino guide. Today, I'm glad to be talking a little bit about a different subject. If you watch my channel a lot, you know that a lot of what I talk about is Camino de Santiago, a spiritual pilgrimage that I've gone on many times and lead pilgrims on and have had a great experience doing that. Today, I'm going to talk about a little bit different subject. I'm going to be talking about how do we think about the principles that make up a spiritual pilgrimage when they're applied to a weight loss journey. I personally have been on a journey myself to lose quite a lot of weight in the last year and a half, and I've really been helped recently by thinking about that in terms of spiritual pilgrimage. I hope it'll help you too, so stay tuned for the 4 aspects of spiritual pilgrimage and how they help us to understand a weight loss journey a little bit better. So I teach a lot on spiritual pilgrimage broadly, so part of this channel is dedicated to planning and support for Camino de Santiago in particular, but I also teach on kind of the theology and spirituality of spiritual pilgrimage more broadly. And you know, the spiritual pilgrimage can be a journey, a holy journey like Camino de Santiago or pilgrimage to Rome or to Mecca, but it can also be things like a journey to a family grave or a family home or something like that, you know, a place that to you is of particular significance. And I think that that's going to help us when we start to think about weight loss as a spiritual pilgrimage too. Now, I've always said that spiritual pilgrimage is going to involve 4 components. I'm going to talk about each of those 4 components in just a moment, but first I want to start with a little bit of my story. So a little bit about my journey is that when I was very young, I was about 17 to about 23 or so, I was in the United States Marines. I struggled with weight even while I was in the Marine Corps, but even an overweight Marine is still in pretty good shape, is still in you know, good physical condition and so on. So even though I was overweight while I was in the Marine Corps, by Marine Corps standards, I still was in pretty good health. But after I left the Marine Corps, I started to gain quite a lot of weight over the years. So from the, you know, basically about 17 years or so after I left the Marine Corps until last year, I had slowly gained weight up to 325 pounds. There have been times when I did diets, when I lost some weight or whatever, but for the most part was just kind of on a steady incline to get up to 325 pounds in 2019 when I walked my Camino de Santiago, the last one that I walked before the pandemic began. One of the things that happened for me during the pandemic was I began to realize how important that Camino had become in my own life and how important it had become in my experience of leading people through the pilgrimage, especially young adults. And I knew from my time of having to not go to Camino, this first year that I missed walking Camino de Santiago, made me realize how big of a part of my life this had become and made me want to do this into my old age. I realized I really want to be walking Camino for years and years to come as a way of leading people in the ministry that I do. And so because of that, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to maintain walking those Caminos as my body aged and my weight continued to climb. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to continue to walk those Caminos in the long term. I'm 42 years old. I was 325 pounds. I knew that was going to have a detriment to my leading Camino de Santiago. So I decided that I was going to begin to lose weight. About July of 2020, I began my weight loss journey. Over that next year, I lost 70 pounds, which was really a great first year of the weight loss journey. But since I came back from Camino in July, I lost weight leading up to and then through the pilgrimage, but when I came back from Camino in July, I haven't lost really any weight, in fact gained a few pounds back from July until now. Really just stalled out, even though I was still kind of going through the motions and doing some of the things, have really just stalled out. And I've got, you know, about 60 more pounds that I want to lose. And so that really got me thinking about weight loss as a spiritual pilgrimage, because once it stalled out, it became harder and it became requiring more discipline. And it reminded me of how much when we are on a spiritual pilgrimage, sometimes that's something we don't want to be doing. Some days you were out there and you'd much rather not be out there, right? And so as I started thinking about that, and I realized, well, this is very much like my experience of spiritual pilgrimage. I wanted to apply these criteria to weight loss journey as well. So before I get started, if you are on that kind of weight loss journey as well, if you would just put in the comments, what has been your experience? What have been some of the struggles you've had? What have been some of the successes you had? And let's talk in the comments. Let's help one another, encourage one another to make our steps towards a weight loss pilgrimage as well. The first aspect of spiritual pilgrimage is that it is a journey to a holy place. Now, a journey to a holy place, as I already mentioned, can mean a lot of different things. It may mean a holy place like Santiago or Rome or Mecca that has holiness ascribed to it because of its religious significance, or it may be a place that's just really important to you. As I mentioned, you know, going to a family home where your family's been raised for generations may be that kind of a pilgrimage for you. So those are the kinds of things that we usually think about when we think about spiritual pilgrimage. But weight loss, that journey itself is a journey to a holy place if you consider some aspect of it holy. So maybe for you it's health. You want to be able to live until old age. You want to live to see your children grow up and flourish. There may be lots of reasons that physical health is a reason for a weight loss journey, and that aspect of physical health may be the holy place that you're seeking. For other people, I think that weight loss journey is a journey towards confidence, that they want to be more confident in themselves. They don't feel good about how they look or whatever whenever they are overweight, and so maybe that journey is a journey towards confidence for you. But for me, that weight loss journey, that pilgrimage, is holy because of the ways that it enables me to lead people on walking pilgrimages. It's a big part of my life, and that's the thing that makes that a holy place for me, and that's really the reason that I started going down this path. But I think that this concept of important, this holy place concept, because that's going to be your why. All of us, if we're going to do something that's as difficult and challenging as weight loss or Camino, we've got to have a why for why we're going to do this thing. And so for me, I've found my why. I hope that you're finding your why on your weight loss journey too. Now, the second aspect of spiritual pilgrimage I want to think about is that a spiritual pilgrimage is intended to be a difficult journey. Now, again, for Camino, that means that it's a walking challenge is the challenge. For other kinds of pilgrimage like Mecca, it may be financial challenges, or it may be that you have to take off lots of time. There are lots of different things that can make it a difficult journey. It may be a prayerfully difficult journey of repentance or something, but regardless of what that is, spiritual pilgrimage is a difficult journey. And obviously, weight loss can be an incredibly difficult journey. It's one of the reasons I found myself in this situation of really needing to kind of ramp up my own journey, is because it did become difficult. Like I said, this summer, weight loss kind of stalled out for me, and so now I've had to incorporate more discipline in my eating, but also now I'm doing cardiovascular running mostly, or long distance hiking every day, 7 days a week. That's incredibly difficult, incredibly challenging for me. I don't enjoy that, but I know that it's important, and so I'm pushing through. And I think, you know, when you're on a pilgrimage, there are going to be days that you wake up and you don't want to do it. And I think that's one of the things that my students learn from the most about pilgrimage, is that when they have to do it when they don't want to, it teaches them, it empowers them that they're going to have to do these same things the rest of their lives on things that they don't want to do. And that's an important aspect that all of us need to learn about how to pursue our lives. Now, the third aspect of spiritual pilgrimage really follows on the first two, and that is that spiritual pilgrimage is intended to be a life transformation. One of the main reasons that it is a transforming journey is because it's a holy place and it's difficult to get there. So this spiritual pilgrimage is going to involve a life transformation. Now, when we're talking about a weight loss journey, there's one transformation that is just the change in our body, right? Getting thinner. I've noticed that, you know, certain clothing doesn't fit very well anymore. Or I've noticed that, my face begins to look thinner, or my body begins to look thinner. These transformation that's happening to my physical body. Certain exercises become easier or harder. That these things are part of my journey because of the ways that my body is transforming. But what's really changing for me, I think, the real transformation is having to take up a discipline of doing something difficult, really challenging. I've had these in multiple parts of my life. When I was earning my PhD, when I was going through Marine Corps boot camp, when, you know, there are these different things that I've done in my life that were very challenging, and now to be able to do that again by saying, I'm going to go up and I'm going to run when my body doesn't want to, when my body hurts, I'm going to continue to get the exercise, to push through and to do the thing that I don't want to do. And I think all of us need that. For me, that's one of the reasons that I really am enjoying the journey part of this, is the challenge that it brings to me to keep pushing through, and that for me is transforming me as well as transforming my body. Now, the fourth aspect of a spiritual pilgrimage is that it is a disconnection from your routine. For the Camino, that means, you know, taking off work, not talking with the same people that we talk with. For many, it means not, you know, disconnecting from technology and other things. So there's a lot of aspects of that a pilgrimage requires us to disconnect, to go retreat from our regular life activities. And I think that the weight loss journey requires that too, because some of our regular routines about both exercise and eating are integral to the weight loss journey. So we're going to have to make some decisions about what we're going to do with our food. We're going to make some decisions about how we're going to change our schedule so that we can get the exercise into our schedule and some of these other things. So that aspect of, it's actually not disconnecting from routine with weight loss, but instead transforming your routine, making an entirely new routine that becomes the new normal for you. So that is a little bit different than the retreat that is involved with the spiritual pilgrimage, but in this way the pilgrimage is lifelong. We're really inviting ourselves into a whole new routine for the rest of our lives to be able to experience that weight loss journey. So for me, those are the ways that that weight loss journey has become a spiritual pilgrimage. I hope that you find that helpful. If you are planning to make Camino de Santiago, then stay tuned for a video that's going to pop up on your screen right after this one. There's a video that I have about whether you are going on Camino de Santiago and you are out of shape. Some tips about what to do, how to prepare, and really some encouragement for you about walking Camino if you happen to be significantly overweight. So stay tuned for that video. For everybody else, if you're considering making pilgrimage to Camino de Santiago, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. I make videos about the gear that we use on Camino. I make video about the logistics of how to plan and prepare for Camino. And I also make videos like this one where we talk about sort of the theology and the spirituality of the pilgrimage as well. So definitely subscribe if you're planning on making a Camino pilgrimage. And if you want to click the like button, that would be so helpful to me, because that'll tell YouTube to send this out to others who like Camino material, and that's really helpful. I appreciate that. Buen Camino, pilgrims. I'll see you out on the trail.